2017. 2017 was the last time I had a little rant on John Cena. So I was doing my own thing, and Jordan Henry, gotta give him props. Like, I'm not bashing the guy, but he's a John Cena fan. He DM'd me and said, I like John Cena. What's your thoughts on John Cena, Jerry? Obviously, he didn't watch my old videos. I've hated John Cena ever since. I just want to say this. This isn't the fake Bruce Blitz. God! Like, it isn't going to be like that type of video. But I made 20 reasons why I believe John Cena sucks. I don't like him. I've never liked him. I actually gonna get hate for this, but I prefer Roman Reigns than John Cena. Because I felt as if John Cena, you know what, we'll just get into the reasons why, okay? We'll get into the reasons why I think he sucks in 2021. Number one, he's doing the same thing he called The Rock out for. So if you all cast your minds back, The Rock was inducting into the Hall of Fame. He was inducting someone into the Hall of Fame. And John Cena was like doing interviews, and John Cena says, oh, this guy, he's part-time. And then whenever The Rock came in, he did like something, John Cena was like, oh, he's part-time. Now this wasn't your whole traditional kind of, you're a part-timer, like the whole kind of like promos. Like John Cena legit was calling out The Rock for being a part-timer, when he himself has become a part-timer. Like, so John Cena says, I'll never miss a WrestleMania. And then he's writing, I'm not missing a WrestleMania. Now a lot of people might be saying, oh, but Jerry, John Cena's doing movies. He's entitled to miss that. Absolutely. Absolutely 100%. But you can't just be a hypocrite and call out The Rock for it, and Lesnar and all the rest of these guys, when he did exactly the same thing. He even, like, literally a few days ago said, oh, haha, been exactly what I hated. Ain't that something, guys? Haha, like, no. Don't you try and... This is the thing with Cena. He'll, like, do some goofy kind of, like, switch around argument to make people, like, oh, it's just John Cena. Like, we can forgive... No, I don't forgive him. I don't like him. He's awful. He's generally awful. Number two is promos even back then were terrible. Okay? Say what you will about the current WWE roster, but I'd rather take their promos over John Cena's. John Cena's promos was notoriously terrible. We'll get into the humor in a minute, but his promos just didn't look convincing to me. He didn't convince me as a tough guy. He's like, huh? What do you think of that, huh? What do you think of that, guys, huh? Like, that was his promos. His promos was... like, the whole entire time, just... like, at least what you say about Roman, at least Roman, like, refutes some of the things that the other person says. John Cena was just like, well, these people think I'm the best. And that's why I don't think you should get a rematch, because you don't deserve it. Like, that's John Cena's... it's boring. Even back then, it was terrible. It's even worse. Like, have you actually watched John Cena's promos now? If you look back at it now, it's awful. Like, it's just, it has not aged well. It looks awful. It's, like, terrible. Like, Hogan, like, he's trying to do the Hulk Hogan kind of promo thing, but Hogan is a legitimate fucking Don. Like, he's a legitimate fucking guy. Ric Flair can pull it off. John Cena can't. He's terrible at promos. He started the indie mentality. I got into this in my 2017 video. But John Cena, because John Cena kept winning, and this kind of, well, John Cena hasn't got hit, but Jerry, he's been hired by the company. John Cena has power in the company. He has a political influence in there. He tells Vince McMahon that he thinks that this should happen, and he thinks that should happen. He has some pull, okay? Very clearly, he has pull. And because Cena kept winning, then obviously the CM Punk thing happened, which was great, but that manufactured itself into this indie mentality. So see these indie militant AEW weirdo neckbeard fat bastards that you see online right now? It's because John Cena pissed them off, so then they jump ship, okay? It's that simple. That's why you see all these fucking weirdos. That's why I blame John Cena for this mentality. His ring gear is the worst WWE mainstream gear ever in WWE history. You look at The Rock, Stone Cold, even Cactus Jack, Mankind, like even that, it looks cool. John Cena's was just a baseball cap, t-shirt, and jeans. He didn't, like, look, he didn't look right even back then. He shouldn't be wearing that shit now. I don't know why they didn't change him 10 years ago. His in-ring gear, he looked like, you know, one of those special children that you see. You all know what I mean. I ain't gonna say it, but you all know what I mean. You know that special people that you see, and they wear, you know, outfits, and they're 40 years of age, and they're wearing clothes that they shouldn't be wearing, you know, for 20-year-olds. Yeah, that's Cena. It didn't work then, doesn't work now. He's not a good actor. I don't know what this whole thing has come from where John Cena's a great actor. John Cena's terrible at acting. I don't know where this has come from that John Cena is a great actor. John Cena's accoutrements are he was in that Amy Schumer, whatever you call her, movie. He was terrible. He was in the family thing with Mark Wahlberg. Terrible. He said, we'll get into the whole Fast and the Furious thing because that has its own section. But he's just a terrible actor. He's either, I'm a militant guy, I'm a bad guy. Like, it's just he acts like himself. The whole point of being an actor is that you act. I know The Rock, I've criticized The Rock for that, but at least The Rock, he looks like a badass. John Cena, it just looks like John Cena. He just looks like John Cena. That's all he looks completely just like John Cena. And I think he's a terrible actor. I think he's awful. I seen him on Saturday Night Live and I was like, oh, John Cena's so funny. He's not. He's not. His excuse over the Nexus was ridiculous. So, for anyone who doesn't know, back in 2017, ironically enough, as soon as I made that video nearly went viral. It got like nearly 10,000 views. And John Cena actually responded, not to me personally, but responded to the whole Nexus kind of thing. This was when he was kind of going out the door. And his excuse was, the company made me do it. Which is just false. Edge even said, even Y2J were like, why is this happening? People told Vince, don't do it. But apparently, someone had influence over that, for that match to happen. That was John Cena. You have to bear in mind, it's 2010, John Cena still had another 10 years left. John Cena don't want to let go of that main event. I think John Cena had a hand in the Nexus thing. If you don't think that, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. He clearly had a hand in it. Okay? No disrespect to Jordan. He's a cool dude and stuff like that. So I'm not really saying he's an idiot or anything like that. But, like, I feel like some of these fans that, like, I think Jordan's just been kind of misguided, so I'll give him a pass on this. But see these other fans that say, John Cena, he didn't do it. He doesn't own the company. Like, come on. Like, even Stone Cold admitted that he had some, like, political influence. But when he used it for the right reasons. Hulk Hogan notoriously was out for himself all the time. So why, like, a lot of people bash Hogan and stuff, and yeah, like, Hogan was really politically motivated backstage, but to protect his interests. That's why, like, you know, that's why I prefer Ric Flair. I'd still love Hulk Hogan, though. Like, Hulk Hogan's still one of my favorite wrestlers, but, and Ric Flair's obviously got political influence, but with John Cena, though, he's just the type of person that, like, you knew he had something to do with that whole Nexus thing. You know what I mean? Completely buried him. Alright, this is a big one. This is the one I didn't use in my last video. He lies about his steroid abuse. Okay? Now, if you honestly come to me and say John Cena ain't on the roids, I'm sorry, but you're on crack cocaine. John Cena, clearly on the sauce. Clearly on the sauce. Now, here's the thing. You're on the sauce, totally fine. I ain't got no issue with it. Totally fine. Hogan admitted it. Totally fine. But there's a major difference. Hogan admitted it. I think Ric Flair admitted it at one point. All these wrestlers admitted that they did it. John Cena didn't. That's why I actually don't really... I respect The Rock. I like The Rock. But that's one of the things that I have a little bit of a problem with him as well. Is this, if you're gonna do it, totally fine. You want to do that to yourself? By all means. But admit it and stop misleading young men that they think that they can get that image, that they can get that look by naturality. That's not gonna happen. A natty or a natural cannot obtain that type of physique. It's not possible. It's not possible at all. And if you don't understand, I've done personal training. I have a level 3 in personal training. I know what body is natural and what body is not natural. John Cena ain't natural. You can even watch the videos, natty or not John Cena. It will explain that John Cena clearly on the roids. Just saying. Stop lying to yourselves. He allowed others to be fired despite he used steroids as well. So, there were several wrestlers, I believe Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy, several other wrestlers were caught with steroid use. John Cena, on the other hand, nothing happened to him. I wonder why. I wonder why. Remember Roman got caught? Why is it, why did John Cena not get called out for that? It's funny, like, some of these wrestlers get fired, but, you know, with all due respect to Triple H, John Cena, they do it, but they just don't admit it. And I think for young men, it seems as like women with beauty magazines. Like, they look at these beauty magazines. Same with men, like, they see these men on the screen. I could obtain that if I lift weights. You can't obtain it. You can obtain a natural look, yes, but you cannot obtain an obscene amount of muscle by just sheer natural protein. It's just not possible. Like, sauce to the absolute gills. Total Bellas. Number 9, Total Bellas. Do I need to say any more? I think he actually came off as a massive douchebag on that show. Like the whole, I want to get this done, Nikki. Nikki, I want this done. Nikki, no, Nikki, you can't. Shut up. He's goofy. He's goofy in his interviews. His promos were goofy. He's just goofy. I don't know, like, he didn't convince me as a badass. Like, he had one good match with JB. I was like, John Cena's a badass. He had a match with JB. He had one match. Fucking whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-frickin-doo. He's goofy. He's massive goof. He's not on the level of The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hogan, and Flair. John Cena ain't even in my top 20. He's not even in my top 50. Sorry. But he's not. Might be in some of yours, but I wouldn't categorize him even in the top 10, top 20, top 30. He's not. And this is a guy that was a main event star. He's not. He's just not on the level of Hogan. And John Cena actually was in the business longer than The Rock was. So why is John Cena not even a higher star than The Rock? Simple. He's useless. His PG persona made fans walk away. Roundabout after the Ruthless Aggression era, John Cena came in, and he's just a goof. He didn't, like, play off to his strengths. He didn't use the PG era. He didn't, like, look, okay, this is the PG era. I gotta do this, but let me try and do something different. Like, you know, John Cena just went, He was a yes man to Vince. He never, like, said, Vince, you shouldn't do this. And it's okay to say to Vince McMahon, I don't want to do this. He might try an alternate. Vince actually, you know, there's been times where he has actually been quite flexible. Not all the time, but, like, you know, John Cena could very easily turn around and say, like, look, I want to do something different in this PG era so that I'm presentable as a badass rather than looking like a 12-year-old. It's ridiculous. His US title run was completely pointless. His US title run was just completely pointless. It was just completely pointless. That's number 13. What did he actually accomplish when he had the United States Championship? Nothing. His matches are very unpredictable. John Cena walks in the ring, gets beat up for 15 minutes, randomly does his finisher move, whatever. Opponent either taps out or pins him. Cena wins. We had that for 10 years and people thought that that was acceptable. John Cena fans, Indian fans and children completely annoyed everyone in the 2010s. Yeah, this was back before, like, the AEW Rampage and the TNA. Yeah, the TNA. Remember those guys, the TNA fans? But before them, there was the John Cena fans, where it was like, this is before, a lot of people forget about this, but it was like around about 2009, 2010. It was PG fans versus non-PG fans. And the PG fans were like these kind of like, so like pro WWE, defend it no matter what. It was absolutely amazing. You all people thought that like, oh, people like accused me of being a pro WWE fan. I will call out WWE, I'll call out AEW, I'll call them out for what it is. There's really driveling crap between the two companies. But this kind of notion that you see of, oh, like these Cena fans were terrible. Like, they would flood your comments and go, you're sad, you bursty, you dog, you bursty dog, you. Like, a lot of people forget about that in 2010, but some of the Indian fans were completely relentless. Number 16 is corny humor. This corny humor was absolutely horrendous. I hated it. A little bit of a heel turn. Shut up. Number 17 should have had another heel turn. He already was technically a heel at the start. Some people just don't count that. But the fact that he wasn't a heel is ridiculous. Like, even after the Bray Wyatt thing, when he comes back, I hope they do something like in a heelish way. But like, essentially, what was happening to Roman Reigns, like, Roman Reigns was pretty much saved after he turned heel and then people liked him. The Rock turned heel and it saved him. John Cena is just doing the same thing over and over again. Oh, the children, y'all. Like, I know the Smart Busters, that's a Smart Busters joke. Like, the children, but he's just very, very corny, and he should have been a heel at some point. It's utterly ridiculous that he wasn't a heel. He thought he was an underdog. Like, John Cena, when he did promos, like, the lack of awareness of him, like he generally at some point thought he was the underdog, and he just wasn't the underdog at all. Number 19, the Fast and the Furious trailer. It's been presented that John Cena is like Vin Diesel's brother. They look completely different. I seen John Cena's clips in Fast and the Furious. Horrible actor. Just horrendous. Like, just looks horrendous. Fast and the Furious was good when it was actually about street racing. Now, I watched, like, even The Rock, like, it was the Hobbs and Shaw movie was horrendous as well. Like, it was, like, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare with jetpacks and all. It was terrible. But keeping it focused on Cena, I feel like this movie's gonna flop. I feel it's gonna be so ridiculous that everyone's gonna be like, ugh. I actually generally think that the next Fast and the Furious movie, a lot of people are gonna fucking absolutely hate it. Because John Cena's just awful. Number 20, he got Alex Riley fired. bet y'all forgot about this, but John Cena did not like Alex Riley. Hated the guy. For whatever reason, Alex Riley actually stood up to him and went, hey man, what the fuck? And then John Cena just got him fired. John Cena hasn't refuted it. He hasn't said, oh, I didn't do it. So he did. He got Alex Riley fired. Even Alex Riley did like a video on it. And it's horrendous how Cena treated Alex Riley. Alex Riley was going to be built up as what some people might have thought as like the next Miz or something like that. Or apparently Vince at one point was actually very keen on Alex Riley. And just Cena just wiped his career away. Which Cena did for a lot of people. Like, I remember, like, he would make jokes about people. And not in the Rock way, where he would make jokes and bash their kind of gimmicks. But, like, ultimately, like, properly bury talent. Like, they would build up this star, feed John Cena him, and then he would just bury them. Like, Rusev is a perfect example. I remember Ryback, but Ryback's trash now, to be fair, like, but Ryback, there was like a whole heap of people that they built up, and then they just fed him to Cena. It was horrendous. It was 2010 was like a weird place, man, but you know, it is what it is. Guys, this is General Jerry on the Wrestling Juggernauts channel, signing out. Cena still sucks. Jordan, this isn't really a response, but that's why I hate John Cena. He's terrible, y'all.